Greetings, Moonlight citizens. It's your Moonlight King, the man on the moon, here with Moonlight Kingdom Podcast 63 in 3, 2, 1. Boom.
Alright, so it's not horrible. Alright, yeah, that's everybody. What are you guys thinking about the prompt?
There are some situations that would warrant that statement right there. I mean, need is a bit of a strong word. But there is one situation where, there could be an argument made that women would technically, quote-unquote, need to have a man, or at the very least male DNA, in order to have a child. Though there have been, there have been instances where two women had a kid, but those were those rare cases where one of the participants involved that was a trans woman. So, not to disavow anyone's experience, it does fall under the realms of a technicality on that side of things.
I don't know if we're referring to the T people, though. I think this is more so of the straight variety. Now, I'm not trying to discriminate. I'm just saying in general, based off the prompt. I mean, we can travel those waters, but,
Slav supports terrorist group, rape, murder, ISIS group, terrorist, Taliban, rape. ISIS.
Good mother, Lord have mercy on my soul.
Oh my god, how many is that, 4?
No, that's a different person entirely, I think.
No, that was the same one.
I feel sorry for his mom.
Man on the moon.
Just say moon. Moon is fine.
Women need men for a multitude of reasons, and the biggest reason is because most of the men who run society, whether it's military, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's first responders, whether it's maintenance or anything at all, the majority are men. And then we also need men to uphold force laws and hold other men accountable. And here's the thing, and we have seen a few videos where a woman police officer was trying to chase down a suspect, and the suspect was able to disarm the female police officer, and she begged for her life, don't pew me, and I'm like, you're gonna be a police officer and you're gonna beg for your life, so you should not be behind a badge or a pew. You should have lost your badge and lost your job and never work for law enforcement again. And with that being said, we do need men, because the majority of these jobs and job types are men.
Okay.
So I don't want people saying men women do.
With all due respect to the men and women on the police force, this is what I've seen. Okay, there have been tons of videos online, on the news, of police officers who are more than happy to be boisterous and, boss people around when they have their weapon by their side. But the moment the other guy pulls a weapon, all of a sudden it becomes, I was afraid for my life. That's not just a woman thing. That happens a lot of cases.
That is not what I said.
I know that's not what you said. I'm making my own point.
Your point you completely swept my point under the rug.
I'm getting to that.
Hold on, because apparently you completely misheard, because I did not once imply or say anything at all that these women and men, or whatever you were going to say, it's completely irrelevant to what I said. What I said was, there was a video that was released when a police officer, and I'm talking about a singular case as of right now, where a woman police officer was disarmed by a civilian. And not only that, she just stayed on the ground begging for her life. If it was me, as a police officer, I would not be sitting on the ground begging disarmed, I will pull my taser and I will taser that man to the ground. And here's the thing too, if a man was disarmed by a civilian, they will 100% get up on their feet and tackle that man or whatever they have to do. So my point being is, when women say we don't need men, this is a prime example of why we need men, because there are women in certain job fields that are not equipped or prepared to handle. And some women do not need to be behind a badge and a pew-pew if they are going to be protecting
And serving.
the public. It's completely insane to think that we don't need men. And I, for one, am in constant contact with police officers. When something goes wrong, I prefer to have a man to be able to handle what needs to be done. Not a woman. Because one, if the woman goes down and something were to happen to her, I am vulnerable. But with a man, I am less likely to be attacked. And a male police officer is less likely to be disarmed and caught off guard than a woman. And that's just my opinion.
Okay, I hear your opinion. I acknowledge what you said about that woman. And I hear what you said about women on the police force in general, and how you would prefer to have a dude show up if you were in an emergency. We cool on that? You do hear that I heard you, right? Okay then.
Yes.
Now I'm going to say my piece. I'm not going to tear down your piece. I'm just saying my piece from what you've said. Personally, I don't give a fuck who shows up if they know how to do their job. If them being a man or a woman somehow got in the way of their ability to do their job, then I would say like, okay, this is some bullshit. This needs to be put an end to. But I have a question for you. If for whatever reason you got pulled over, say you ran a stop sign you didn't see, it was dark or whatever, and the cop pulled you out of the car and searched you. You telling me you'd be comfortable with a dude searching you over a woman searching you, or would it make no difference whatsoever?
I wouldn't care. And here's the reason why. Because if there is only a man and he has to do a body cavity search, they will always call for female police officer to do so, because otherwise a female civilian can say he was sexually touching me in inappropriate ways, versus if it were a woman, and like I said, it's more likely that if it's they have to do a cavity search or you know what a cavity search is, or when a police officer does it, is they usually call a female, because they have to go and touch certain areas that is frowned upon in the police force. So because where I live, with my police department, it is kind of like a quote-unquote policy that if you are only a male police officer, if you do a cavity search on a female, they will send out a female officer to do so.
They do it at the airport too.
So that almost is also, so your argument will be kind of moot. But I will say that there are some times if there is no female police officer available, then I guess that's gonna happen whether I like it or not, right? And oftentimes or not, you're gonna get a back of a police car, and if you have body cavity search or something needs to happen, put you in the back of a police car. They'll drive you to the police department or the sheriff's department, and then they'll have a woman there to do the body cavity search. But it kind of depends on a whole lot of things.
Yeah, there are situations involving the police where a person's gender does matter, as you stated, a body cavity search, or when, as seen in like many different episodes of like Law and Order SVU, when someone when someone has been assaulted and they need to do like tests for that sort of thing, those would be the kind of situations where a woman might want another woman in the room instead of another man, so it would just make them feel more at ease. Because even if this man could be the most professional man in the world who's never had an incident in his entire career, there will be that thought in the back of your mind, this man might try to cop a feel or something. Or having been attacked by a man, you might not feel easy being around other men. Just in those cases, gender would matter. It would make someone feel that much better to have another female in the room, or at the very least have a female be the one conducting the search, or doing the one asking the questions, or just being there as a way of support, or, you know.
Oh, I 100% agree, but like again, I think we're kind of saying that in certain situations, yes, that a woman will prefer a woman to do certain things, right? But when it comes to day-to-day life, right? If I move, if I need, let's say, a fire put out, my house is burning, more often than not, statistically speaking, it's gonna be more men than it's gonna be women, right? And not only that, if let's say if a house needs to be swatted, it's most likely gonna be men, or if let's say my hosing or my piping has an issue, or my electricity has an issue, it's gonna be more likely a man. So right, by default, it's gonna be most likely men, right? And if we say, oh, women don't need men, men can just disappear, or whatever they wanna say, is that you do realize that if men just up and disappeared and stopped doing what they're doing, society will fall apart very quickly, because again, like I said, most of the jobs that require the society to run are men. And not only that, but let's say if Russia or China or any of our enemies only saw women, they are more likely to come to our country and take over, because women are much physically inferior to men. So if women would try to fight against men, the likelihood of them succeeding will be incredibly low. And plus, the majority of our military are men. The majority of vets are men, right? And like I said, we need men whether we like it or not. But that's just my sense.
I don't know about all that, but yeah, there is. You are right. You did hit some points. A lot of the armed forces, Army, Navy, SEALs, wherever, that is mostly men. A large, very large percentile of that is men. Firefighters, EMTs, all emergency services is mostly male dominated. Okay, maybe hospitals. Like hospitals in regards with nurses and some doctors, and or psychiatric wards with orderlies and their nurses. Those are the places where you could find more equilibrium in terms of the male-female like ratio. It's not quite a 50-50 split, but there are significantly more females in those fields than there are in various others. And in regards to what you said about the firefighter, I can see that. I can see where you're coming from on that, in the sense that if you're trapped in a burning building, you're going to want somebody who can kick down the door and carry you out from the flames. That's from a physicality standpoint, I can see that side of the equation. In terms of the job side of things, it's a lot of these jobs, women can do these jobs, they just don't. Women are capable of doing a lot of the jobs you laid out. There is nothing gender specific about those jobs, but those jobs are primarily male dominated because it is mostly men who sign up for those jobs.
And I 100% agree. The women can 100% do these jobs. However, because of their bone density, I'm talking about the men's perspective, right? Their men's bone density is larger than ours. Their muscular system is bigger than ours. Their respiratory is bigger than ours. Their entire brain chemistry is different than ours. And not only that, as a woman, generally speaking, as women, we tend to think on the emotional side and not necessarily logical, right? So if something were to happen in my apartment, I'm freaking out. Versus if it were my fiance, you'd be like, this is what we need to do, this is what's going to happen, and all of the steps that need to happen before we can fix something, right? Even to get right down to it, I'm freaking out. being, how can we fix this versus a man, right?
Okay, let me ask you this question. One adapts the situation to suit themselves. The other adapts themselves to fit the situation. Which of those descriptions would you say applies to men?
Can you repeat that?
One adapts the situation to suit them. The other adapts themselves to suit the situation. Which of those would you say applies to men?
I think both. I think both, but I don't know. I'm not a man, so, and I'm not as easily adaptable as my fiance. Can you not chew on that? Sorry.
Well, I guess the live is over. It just said live has ended at 961 viewers. And that's a real shame, because we were getting somewhere. It really seemed to be going good there for a bit. I mean, hot damn. I mean, like, we had some good back and forth going on there. I mean, I gained a new follower from this, and we really delved into the meat of it all with the whole man and woman thing. And it really helped that the two opposing sides were a man and a woman. Yeah. It's a damn shame, you know, it ended the way it ended. It just ended abruptly, out of nowhere. Just live has ended it. 961 viewers. We never got to the heart of the issue. We never got to the topic on screen. It was just back and forth between me and this person. You know, just a real scintillating conversation between this person and me. And we never really got to the issue at hand. You know, the thing that was on the background. We never talked about that. We never really dived into the why women need men. Or why they believed women need men. We understood that they felt that way. We understood that I felt different. But other than that, you know, not much was, some traction was gained, you know, significant steps were made forward, but, you know.
And what can I help you with?
You mentioned earlier, like, Ultron is not, what'd you say? Ultron wasn't male? I mean, it'd be kind of...
I was making a joke from the Republican standpoint where they make the argumentation that you can't be a man or a woman unless you were born male or female.
Yeah, that would be a hard sell given Ultron was made, but technically we're all made if you think about it, but you know, that's its own can of worms.
But can you make a robot be male or female? And then if you're making that argumentation, Ultron's nude most of the time, and I don't see no dangly bits, so wouldn't that make Ultron female?
Yeah, but I don't see a center bar.
I'm just making jokes from the bullshit arguments that I hear. You should know me better than that.
True, but I'm just saying there's not exactly a censorship bar floating around everywhere he goes.
My censorship bar is non-existent, but that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it could be like a Judge Dredd thing. You know, like when Dredd's face gets censored only when he takes off the mask.
Judge Dredd. Why is that name so familiar?
Well, he's had 2 movie adaptations. One was Stallone, the other with Carl Urban. You should definitely see the Carl Urban one. It's amazing.
I think I saw that. Is he the guy that's like a police officer, but he's got the red visor and wears a mask all the time or something, and they live like in the future in like this multi-story
mega
like
city
apartment complex or something?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you could tell it was heavily inspired by The Raid, in the sense they gotta go floor by floor taking out bad guys. Definitely a great premise for an action movie, and also like just a great character in general. Not necessarily a good dude, like someone you could sit down and share a drink with, you know, probably bust you for it, but he's effective lawman at least.
True. Now, actually right now, I might go see it with my father, or I just might wait for it to come to video. What is the name of Keanu Reeves? There's 3 or 4 movies, and they just made another one that's between 4 movies, and then they made the one that's between the 3rd and
John Wick.
4th movie. John Wick, thank you. The one that's starring his niece, his daughter, another character, but it's in the John Wick series. I'm really interested in. Go ahead.
Her name's Ana de Armas. It is set between the stories of 3 and 4. Ballerina. It's not to be confused with that other action movie called Ballerina. I swear when it comes to movies nowadays...
I don't know a movie called Ballerina. I know Battle Area Toshinden, but that's an anime.
Well, I said Ballerina. It's a movie about this like badass chick who takes people out, but is also like moonlights as a ballerina. But like, not to be confused with this John Wick movie that's coming out. The chick who takes people out, but is also a ballerina.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know anything about it. I just came across my TikTok feed, and I was like, "Oh, there's another movie in the John Wick." Sometimes I just like mindless movies to watch while I munch on popcorn.
Well, let me tell you, it's a lot of things, but I wouldn't necessarily call it mindless. You will enjoy. Wait. I know you like cats, but are you a fan of dogs?
Love cats. Yeah, I got my Shiba Inu, although she's laying under my feet right now. She thinks she's a cat most of the time. But yeah, I love dogs and cats. Honestly, my favorite animals are foxes and ferrets, but I can't own a fennec in my state, and ferrets have gone up by like 400%, and I'm not currently in a position to own one, unfortunately.
Well, dear lover of dogs, the first movie might not be for you, but thing is, this first movie does better than almost a lot of the movies that come out today. You really hate the bad guy. On account of, I won't tell you the whole story, but he does something awful to a dog.
Oh, I've seen the first 2 John Wick, so I already know that. I really, really did not like that guy. I was very upset.
Exactly. That right there was effective storytelling, because
it's kind of like an unwritten rule in a movie, like nothing bad happens to little kids, dogs, maybe an old lady. But like the fact that this movie went for it, and something terrible happened to the dog, and it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, get this dude. Get him. You want that man gone.
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly there.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of a cliche that a lot of action movies do where like, oh, the bad guy's taking the hero's daughter or the hero's wife or something. It's so cliche to the point that you're like, yeah, let's get going. But when it gets to like, oh, the hero's pet's been taken out, it's like, get him! Like, yeah, that's...
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But it's relatable though, I'll give it that much.
I just like his car.
that poor car.
That car went through a lot. That car went through quite a lot.
Yeah. I will spoil this much for these coming films. All the way up till John Wick 4, he never gets his car back. It's very unfortunate. Like, because in the second one, he gives it to his friend to be like, hey, can you fix this? And he was like, sure, I'll have it by Christmas of 2030.
I will totally have your car back for you. That's a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah. But like, it's full disclosure on John Wick. You've seen the second one. I think that was not to be a dick, but that was the last movie where I kind of felt sorry for him because everything after that, you could say this is 100% John Wick's fault. Like,
Yeah, he does kind of bring it on himself after that, but now, I mean, he's trying to be a good guy, and like he saw the inner workings of the establishment, and he's like, nah, I'm dealing with this problem.
yeah. But, it also shows how it helps to have friends who, like, take up for you when times get tough, not just when it's easy or convenient.
Well, that's true. John Wick's got so many connections, and I guess when you become literally known as the Baba Yaga, even if they're not your friend, they may do you a favor.
Oh, yeah. Bless that name, though. That movie did such a great job with setting up who John Wick is. Like, when they were... Because the way they were hyping him up, he was being hyped up by the villain. So, that you know that, oh, this dude is bad. If even the main bad guy is like, yo, this guy is not someone we need to take lightly. That's when you know it's bad. Because he was hyping him up so menacingly. And when he said, like, the guy you messed with we called him the Baba Yaga. And he's like, the boogeyman? Like, well, John's not the boogeyman. He's the guy you send to take out the boogeyman. It's like,
The boogeyman's coming after you. We got something for that. Yeah, you're not wrong. Not wrong at all.
yeah. It's just, that was one of the most well-written bad guys of that series. Even though he was just like an old Russian mobster, I did like that dude. I like that actor in general, but I liked that character because he was smart enough to be like, yeah, John Wick's coming for you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, I'll try. Like, I'll send, like, wave after wave of bad guys, but it's not going to do anything. Yeah. I like a smart villain.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I like when villains aren't I don't know, brain dead would be the right word.
Yeah. Another thing I really enjoy when the villain has the good guy in the perfect spot to be taken out. He doesn't stop to give a speech. 'Cause that's how they always get them. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives Power Ranger vibes, or not Power Ranger, like every old anime where they go on a 5-minute monologue and the other guys, like Goku. Goku's the example. I'm gonna power up this Kamehameha wave for like 12 episodes and you're gonna deal with it.
Hey, that was 3 episodes and you know it.
It was not.
I know it was 3 episodes because it aired, the first one, when he was starting to power up was on a Wednesday. Over here, the episodes aired like Monday through Friday, and then they aired back, like the next ones will come on Monday. So he started on that Wednesday, and that Friday was that to be continued of they show him like actually throwing the blast. So it was 3 episodes.
I know the Frieza saga is like 21 episodes long.
Yeah, certainly. Back in the good old days where it would take a whole episode just for the dude to go Super Saiyan. Oh, good old Dragon Ball. It's just so, I don't know. It's basically Superman, but told in such a unique way that you're like, yeah, I fuck with. I know this dude is basically just a riff on Superman, but I really fuck with his story and all the side characters he's got with him.
I can't agree with you that he's a riff on Superman. Superman came all powerful. He's a riff on Monkey King. He's a riff from Chinese lore of Journey to the West.
Oh, Journey to the West. Yeah,
Journey to the West predates Superman by a lot.
I know that, but Journey to the West, you could argue, yes, it's a riff on Journey to the West in those Dragon Ball Z days where they were trying to find the Dragon Ball and he was a kid and he actually had the tail. Then you could be like, yeah, it's Journey to the West. But the rest of it is just straight up Superman when you find out about the planet of the Saiyans and Planet Namek and all that. I mean, it is
okay, so
very
they took
Superman-ish.
Journey to the West and well, I mean, Superman's not the only one that comes from a blown up planet. But yes, I get where you're saying with that. Okay, done with fun shopping trip. Oh, good, Maggie. I hope you got fun things.
Gotta love a good, nice, fun shopping trip where it's a case of, yeah, the fridge is full and we have everything we need. Now I'm just gonna get all the extra stuff.
More or less.
Oh, yeah. Life is good in those days. I think the reason a lot of people get so passionate about movie remakes and so staunchly say things like, you know, the original was better is because that original reminds you a lot of, like, where you were and who you were when you saw it. And this remake is like, this doesn't have that same feel.
Yeah, it's not a I mean, they do. I'm sorry, baby girl. I forgot you were underneath me. I rolled you over with my wheels. I'm sorry, honey. Got a couple of things for your girls and some for yourself. Oh, that's awesome, Maggie. It's always good when you remember to do something nice for yourself. I just get everything for my husband and I forget about myself. Because that's my job.
Good old Z.
If my camera wasn't doing my avatar right now, my dog looks so upset that I will not let her out of my lap to go get my husband. Because he just got home from work and she wants nothing more than to go say hi. Go get him. Hi, baby girl.
Can you really blame her? I mean, if your significant other was the living embodiment of the Irish flag, wouldn't you?
Oh, my puppy. Oh, my goodness. Hi. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Hello. Hi, baby girl. Oh, goodness. Hi, baby. Hello. How many hellos is she getting?
The audible love and adoration going on in the background.
You're such a good puppy. Yeah, he treats her good, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, from what I've seen,
She
he's
says,
okay.
I'll take a greenie, Daddy. Would you go kitty? Not you. Dazai's been asleep. She's been a good kitty. Don't be mean to her.
Might I propose a scenario to you?
Sure.
Suppose, like, one day it's a normal day, you know, you hear a knock at the door.
Who wants treats?
You go to the door, open it, and lo and behold, it's your man. But it's not your man as he is now. It's who he was a year ago. He looks exactly like he did a year ago, and he tells you, the dude you've been staying with, yeah, that's not me. That's a clone. I'm the original me. What do? You tell the clone dude to hit the brakes and original to move back in, or do you tell the original to hit the brakes because clone dude is actually pretty good?
I mean, I'm not sure this is a scenario you want to bring up to me. I'm polyamorous, and that means I get two of them? Sounds like a good time.
What?
So the scenario is you show up at the door, but it's not you. It's you from a year ago. You look exactly like you do a year ago. And you're saying you're the real you. The one I've been living with has been a clone this entire time. What do? Do I tell the clone to hit the brakes? And I said, no, now I get two of them, and it sounds like a good time.
You know what else sounds like a good time? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to my wife. Happy birthday to you. Mwah. Hi, baby. Hi. How was work? It was work. You a little less stressed about your interview now?
No. I have had so much time to sit there and
Yes.
fester and think about all
And
of
I'm
the things
sure
I did
Silas
wrong.
has told you that you were fine.
I love the, the stereotypical husband-wife dialogue of, yeah, go get me a sandwich, girl.
Except it was backwards. I was telling my husband to go get a coconut cookie. But yes, usually he tells me to get in the kitchen in the most loving way and make him a sandwich. But right now I'm doing a live, so I asked him to get me one.
I do not tell you to get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
You
I
do.
have never said that.
In the most joking tone in the world? Yes, you have.
No.
Yes.
No. I have never said something so misogynistic.
And then you guilt trip me into it by saying, but it tastes better when you make it.
I've said, can you please make me a sandwich? And then you go, you can make your own food, And I say, but it tastes better when you make it, because it's made with love.
Although this is all true, you've still told me to get in the kitchen. Wait a minute. There's another glitch in my live. They left. They glitched out.
On the subject of matriarchal society, I gotta ask, have you seen any of the Predator movies?
That's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger's the first one, right? In the woods?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen that one randomly because it was on TV and it was just something to watch. I like the Alien movies. Predators never really It's an
Clearly you haven't seen the follow-ups. But don't worry, I won't hold that against you.
Nope, I've only seen the first one, and I just remember two trees coming together and squishing someone.
Two trees coming together and squishing someone.
Yeah, he set up a bunch of traps in the woods or something, and I remember a tree. Or maybe I'm confusing it with something else. I don't know.
Do you want any mustard, honey? It's your birthday sandwich.
I love how you broke that film down as a movie set in the woods, and I remember a tree.
Leave me alone. I have a good memory and a bad memory. It depends.
It really does.
If you ask me to tell you what bush to burn in the original Zelda so that you can get extra heart pieces, I can rattle them off for you. If you ask me where I put my keys 5 minutes ago, I can't tell you.
I mean, I get it. No memory slides now and then,
Speaking of keys, did you know that you have
better corny than cheesy, that's for sure. But anywho, I bring up the Predator movies.
They said better corny than cheesy. Say again?
I bring up the Predator movies and I'm like, yeah, you bring up go get me a sandwich, but it was reversed.
Give me the cheese, motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah, because that's how it is on their world, weirdly or not. Because you would think that of a society of hunters, alien game hunters, you would think, since these creatures are designed to be the physical embodiment of male masculinity.
2 pieces of cheese, 4. Say that one more time.
Given these creatures were designed to be like the physical embodiment of male masculinity, one would assume that surely back home it's like a frat house, basically, a total patriarchy society. But really, believe it or not, the society, according to the comics anyway, back on the Predator homeworld, is actually run by the women.
There's yeah, that surprises me less than it would. Didn't the writer of the Predator movie say they designed the society of predators based off Amazonian society?
it's taken from a lot of different, like bits and pieces of cultures from around the world. There's some like in terms of like with like the spear hunting and like the use of nets and more long range weapons. It's
Dijon,
definitely
Don't say it like
a
that.
little bit of everything.
Gotcha.
Don't ever say it like that. I will personally fight you with my bare hands.
Aggressive.
Who the fuck pronounces it like that?
Yeah.
Honey, you know I pronounce words much different than you. Get your...
The amount of loving going on here is just so.
I'll get my Oregonian ass off your case when you can pronounce coffee, right?
It's coffee. Leave me alone.
Coffee.
Well, all right then. Shit, what was I saying?
I was gonna say, how many times have you been in my live where we talk like this? Like, this is common case.
Well, yeah, but like this normally happens before I come on.
Fair.
But yeah, as I was saying, so yeah, it's really the women who are running things, but weirdly enough, they're not running things in the traditional sense, like the president of the Yautja planet is a female or anything. It's the society was in fact built by the women in the sense that all the technology and the weapons and the vehicles and all that was designed by the females. And even when it comes to their style of hunting, it's like the species is more in line with lions than anything, because while the males tend to hunt for sport and honor and upgrading their skills and whatever, the lionesses the female Yautja would hunt just to hunt. If they can get you from 30 feet away with a shoulder-fired cannon, they will. They don't bother with that, I need to get up close or sneak around type business. Yeah, it's more a case of if a female Yautja wanted to get you, you'd be got. What was that? You get a big gift? Yeah, they're the ones who build everything. They're not running the show in a traditional sense because, well, like, I laughed when I read this. Yeah, they're not running the show in a traditional sense. They're more running things behind the scenes because, well, they kind of have better things to do. Like, you would think that surely any society that's led by a man would be patriarchal and, like, the most powerful people would be running the show or something. But, like, really on this home planet, the most powerful people are the women, and they have better things to do than be up front running things. But, like, yeah. So that kind of says a lot in terms of, like, how effective they are at what they do. It's like we've set up a system of government or a planetary-wide way of living where we can step away and have the men take over and everything will just be fine. It's effectively a country, or not a country, but a planet running itself, basically. The dudes be like figureheads. I like this because it's pro-women without being anti-man.
No, I can understand that. At the same time, I would be less anti-man if men hadn't fucked up so bad in the first place.
Yeah. There is that argument to be made.
What would I ever do?
And I'm not saying that if because we don't know, it's an unknown impossible. But for example, if we could go back and say this was a whole simulation and we reran the simulation, but women were in charge since basically forever, like, they made men be subservient, or however you want to look at it. And we lived in a matriarchal society. Would it just be the inverse, that because they were in charge, women had started all the wars throughout history, yada, 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 yada. Would it actually be the inverse, or would it be what we see currently, that when women do get to a position of power, typically they outperform men in that position of power?
There's no way to know for sure, but it is an interesting proposition to wonder, like, hey, if women were running the show, what would be different as opposed to what would stay? Because if women were running the show and everything turns out basically the same, then it would raise the point of, like, okay, why bother?
Yeah, it's an unanswerable. I absolutely agree with that.
There was this short film I saw in high school. I think it was called Pink Moon. It was basically asking the premise, hey, what would the world look like if instead of a minority, the LGBT were the majority, they were the majority of the population, and it was the heterosexual people who were the minority, who were the taboo and all that. Like, what would the world look like? And while I like the premise, I'd say it was executed poorly because the world wasn't that different. It's just that the frat bros are gay now, and like the marginalized people are straight. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of movies like that. But I think it's basically that movie that you're specifically talking about is to show that marginalization, oppressing and marginalized groups is bad in general. I think that was supposed to be the premise of the movie. And those in power abuse their power. So whether those in power are LGBTQIA or they're cisgender or they're straight or whatever, is human beings have a propensity to abuse power. There was one quote unquote utopian movie that I saw that showed it from a different perspective, that LGBTQIA were predominant within the world. And what they came to is, instead of pushing down on cisgender individuals, instead of worrying about birth rates and everything else, they came up with a systematic plan that, like, okay, when you reach 25 years old, you need to find someone to procreate with. It can be a neighbor, it can be a friend, it can be whatever. You can do it naturally, you can do it through something like IVF, whatever. But you pick that person, you create a baby, you go back to your partner, and you go back to living your lives. And everybody was allowed to live however. That was the one time I've seen it done different. But yeah, I've seen movies where the Earth is our YT individuals are the minority. I've seen movies where straight people are the minority. I'm sure in the future we'll see cisgender people are the minority. They just kind of keep recycling the same premise. And for the majority of it, it just kind of shows that the majorities don't typically do nice.
Yeah, I think it was Abe Lincoln who said, nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you really want to test someone's resolve, give them power.
Yeah, I've heard that quote. I don't know if it's Abe Lincoln, so I definitely won't say no, it isn't, or yes, it is, because I honestly have no idea. But yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Though it is, personally to me, I think it is kind of disappointing that in all these worlds where the LGBT are running things or the minorities are running things, the main character is almost always the straight man. Regardless of the, focus being on an LGBT, run world, the main character is always a straight white guy or a straight white woman.
Right.
Yeah. It's
I should have had you put lettuce on mine.
What is an ideal sandwich? Like, what would you describe as the perfect sandwich in unrelated news?
For me,
Please don't say chicken and mayo.
Grilled ham and cheese, grilled turkey and cheese, with a good cheese. I'm not picky. I honestly don't have an answer to that. My husband may have an answer. What's your ideal sandwich, honey? Like a perfect sandwich?
my order from Subway, but with actual fresh ingredients.
Yeah, but I don't know that off the top. I know it has banana peppers. That's the biggest thing I know for you. You even have to look up the order, so I can't be faulted for not knowing it off the top of my head.
That's why I didn't ask you to know it.
He has a very specific order he's been doing from Subway for a while. And he has it stored in his phone so he can find it.
I'm not remembering all that. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, you can tell a lot about somebody's taste by asking, like, what kind of sandwich you enjoy eating. Because it's a simple thing. Anybody can, like, sit down and put together a sandwich, so...
I usually would make that comment by the pizza they order.
What?
Judge of someone's character based off their pizza. He said off a sandwich, and I said it's off a pizza.
Speaking of pizza, are you of the opinion that pineapples belong on pizza?
Yes, but in certain situations. I do sweet and spicy pizza, basically jalapenos, banana peppers, pineapple, a white sauce, and a crispy crust. That is my ideal pizza.
Pineapple on pizza. What is the world coming to?
Good things? I don't know.
I'm just saying, it's one of those divisive topics. First, it was that white and gold dress from back in the day that people said was blue. I don't know if there's something up with people's brains back then or if they were just trolling, but now it's pineapples on pizza.
I mean, yes, pineapple goes on pizza, period.
It's fruit.
And people put mashed potatoes on pizza. I don't agree with that, but people like it.
Mashed potatoes make sense. Like with potatoes,
How the fuck are you gonna say pineapple doesn't make sense on pizza and then turn around and say mashed potato does? No.
It goes with that kind of food. It goes with that sweet and sour feel to it, like you said. But fruit is too sweet. It's too sugary, especially pineapples.
That's why you offset it with jalapenos. Look, I've had a multitude of people tell me that pineapple doesn't go on pizza, and I tell them to order the pizza that I like, try it, and then get back to me. Maggie, thank you for the 20 gummy bears. I'm sorry, I'm late to
Speaking of the gummy bears, like, the gummy bears and the Care Bears sure did have a lot in common. Whoa, what happened to the lights?
Maze.
Well,
Maze.
what a world we seem to be living in.
Dragging your...
She's completely destroyed those tags that we got her because she drags them on the floor.
Because you got the long-ass fucking connector on.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way. I almost forgot to say.
Thank you.
I saw you on Twitch was that the other night or was that today?
It wasn't today. I go live nightly, usually after these lives, somewhere around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, it was the other night. Yeah, I saw you on Twitch the other night. You was playing the Ark.
Yep, that was last night.
Yeah.
Tonight is most likely going to be Among Us.
I have a question. I'm curious.
What's that?
When I came on, did you know it was me?
Probably not. What was the username?
Ah, okay. It's weird because it's like, it's not that different. Like, I wanted to use Man on the Moon, but apparently someone else had it over there. So I just said, okay, fuck it. Just Max Moon. That'll be it. What always cracks me up is when I do follow someone from TikTok that I do know, and I see them on Twitch and I talk to them, no one knows it's me. Even though like the profile picture is like the same, the details are the same, but nobody knows it's me.
Oh, it's harder for me to see those because I have a really large monitor, but I don't have a dual monitor setup at the moment. So everything is situated across my 49-inch monitor. So I have the game in the center and then everything else around the surrounding edges, but everything shrunk down a little bit, so I can't just see the icons. Aren't you the one that said that I made a rookie mistake for not putting a bed down?
Yes.
Yeah, smart mouth over here. I should have caught on to that.
Yeah.
That's okay. I hope you come back.
I was content to just like wait it out and see, hold up, let me see how long it takes before they catch on, like, this dude is not what he seems, because normally it takes a while. Like, I kid you not, like, I was on like Kaiser's live stream on Twitch, and I was saying shit like that I would normally be saying on here, and like the response was like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, what? Why are you talking like? It was basically this attitude of, why are you talking like you know me? And then it dawned on me like, oh, they don't know who this is. And I was about to say, like, I was about to be like, you know who this is, right? But then like they stopped, like midstream. You know that that face you make when you're like in a movie when a character realizes something and you hear like previous dialogue playing in their head and all the clues start clicking and shit, and they have that,
right?
Yeah, they drop the coffee cup and they're like, oh, I know what's going on. Yeah, that's what happened, because they stopped like midstream and they went, wait a minute, is this man on the moon? I'm like, what gave me away? And they're like, it is! What the whole vibe changed. Like, oh, okay. It's like the vibe of, okay, now it all makes sense. But I gotta say, it was funny.
I'm mad at you now.
Why?
Now that I know that was you didn't follow me.
I do follow you.
Oh, did you follow a while ago?
Yes.
I'm looking at it. Oh, 11 days ago. Okay. So that's just the first live you've made it to. Got it.
No, I mean, I've seen a few. I
had to go back
nothing.
through my mini feed. I had to go back through my mini feed to find you that you followed me, because it tells me if you're a first time chatter, like if you've never typed in my Twitch before. So, and it was like, oh, first time chatter. I was like, oh, new person's here. Just kidding.
Well, yeah, I'll just be watching, because it just seems, well, I didn't want it to be no distraction of it, because like there'll be times where like I don't know much about the game being played, or I do know something, but a common thing on Twitch streamers is like, hey, no spoilers and no backseat gaming, so it's like, let me just watch.
Yeah, so my stream's the same. If it's a game that I've never played before, I want to do my first playthrough without somebody being like, hey, you didn't go over here and get this super secret item by jumping off 3 different cliffs and walking backwards through a cave. And, yeah, I don't want any of that. But like Ark Survival, definitely. I'm just kind of chilling, doing things, collecting dinos because I'm playing on a single player server. It's just a really chill stream. Like when I was going through Clara Obscura Expedition 33, it was my first time ever playing it. I wouldn't have wanted someone coming in and being like, "Hey, build your character this way and you'll one-shot everything." If I want to go look up a one-shot, I'll Google it. That exists.
Yeah, they got walkthroughs for that.
Yep. It used to be on, God, what was that website that you would always go to if before like social media like really took off? There was a website.
Game FAQs?
Yeah, GameFAQs. You'd go to GameFAQs and you'd be like, all right, I need this specific spot in this specific part, and how do I do this?
Yeah, I would typically go there whenever I got stuck. Like if there was a puzzle game and there was a puzzle I just couldn't crack, I would be like, okay, I give up. Let me just, what do I gotta do? And it would be the most ridiculous thing that would leave you being like, wait, that's it? That's all I had to do? And it's like, it would,
I mean, my favorite ones are honestly especially as YouTube started coming up and people would put small videos up and everything, is like you'd see this item and you definitely can't reach it. So you progress further in the game and you come back and you still can't reach it, and you come back and you still can't reach it, and then you finally break down. You look up how to get the damn item because you're like, I want the fucking item. It's been bothering me for like the last 10 hours, and I've done so much in the game. And then it's the simplest thing in the world that I just didn't think of.
Yeah. There would be times, whether it was God of War or Darksiders or whatever game that had puzzle mechanics, I would be frustrated. I'd give up. I'd look up a walkthrough or look on GameFAQs and then find out it's the simplest thing and be left thinking, why didn't I think of that? Like, damn, I could have thought of that.
That is the best and worst feeling. It's like, why didn't that click in my brain? Why? I don't get it.
Yeah. I feel like it's like the person who made those puzzles was like, let me make a real easy puzzle that anybody can crack. But then there's something in your brain that actually comes up with that solution, but discards it to be like, nah, that's too easy. Like, no way it'd be that easy. Like, turns out it is. You're just like, wow, I feel pretty dumb right about now. But hey, it's part of what we love about gaming, and that it has these puzzles and it, really teases the brain on how to solve the solutions. Because back in the day, I would generally go to school thinking about the puzzle that I couldn't crack the previous day. I'd be sitting in class thinking about the puzzle. The whole way home, I'm just thinking, well, what if I do this? I mean, this, and the third. And
there were definitely some math classes that I did not pay attention to the math class. I needed to know how to do the puzzle.
Oh, yeah. But hey, it did help, you could argue it was good for you in the sense that it kept the mind sharp in a way. Really gave you like a real test in lateral thinking and all sorts of that. Yeah, video games are a net positive in that regard.
Sweet light flickers, shadows dance. Reel to reel spinning, lost in a trance. Neon nights where stories ignite. The 80s magic fills the sky bright. Blockbuster dreams on silver screens. Heroes and journeys wild in between. Tall tales told, bold colors that gleam. Fantasies built on